From poverty to wealth, and then back to poverty or jail. It's a warning story that's all too typical among NFL players who aren't prepared to handle the money they make in their careers. Players frequently find themselves drowning in a sea of debt when they leave the league and the money stops coming in because they lack experience dealing with that kind of money or training on how to invest effectively. It's easy to see how it happens. They move from college ball players with little money to professionals with weekly checks that have a string of zeros at the end, ready to be spent on things they could never have previously afforded. While their playing days are over, the property taxes, maintenance costs, and loan repayments begin to pile, leaving them penniless with only pointless luxury and a amount of debt. A lot of retired NFL players have had financial difficulties throughout the years. They all lost their wealth, whether it was due to poor investments or legal troubles. In today's video, we examine a few of the most prominent figures who committed such mistakes. So who are we talking about, and how did they make this mistake? Let's find out. But before we start, how about you please hit that like button and subscribe. Also, don't forget to turn on the notification bell. And without further ado, let's get started. 1. Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp, a defensive lineman and former Tampa Bay Buccaneer who played in the NFL for 12 years and made more than $82 million during that time. Sapp, however, got into serious difficulty when he added alimony and child support payments of $74,495 per month to a dubious real estate purchase. His emphasis on living a luxury lifestyle also didn't help him, and in 2012, only 5 years after retiring, he ultimately declared bankruptcy. Sapp said he could not pay his $6.7 million debt at the time, even though he was still making $115,881 each month as an analyst for the NFL Network. Sadly, in 2015, after running into legal issues, Sapp finally lost his job as an analyst. His ex-spouse claims that he still owes her $3 million today. 2. John Elway. Although Elway technically never experienced financial troubles, his placement on this list is remarkable because of his post-football success, which has increased his net worth to $145 million. However, some people are surprised by the extent of some of his losses. When Elway and many others fell for a Ponzi scam in 2010, they had made several successful investments in auto dealerships and other enterprises. According to reports, the former Bronco staked $15 million before losing over $7 million. Elway was also reportedly said to have declined an investment opportunity presented to him by Pat Bowlen, the owner of the Broncos. At the time, a $15 million offer for a 10% share in the squad included an option of an additional 10% stake subject to certain conditions. That investment would be worth $388 million now. 3. O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson is, without a doubt, the most notorious name on the list. At the height of his career, he was not just a top NFL player, but also perhaps one of the most admired American sports figures. Of course, that was before the double murder of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman, which resulted in decades of controversy and legal issues. Despite Simpson's exoneration in the 1994 killings, a civil court ordered him to pay $33.5 million to the victim's surviving family members. After attempting to retrieve artifacts that he claimed were taken from his Florida home in 2013, Simpson was sentenced to jail for abduction and robbery. Along with facing foreclosure, he owes back taxes. It is known that Simpson continues to get a $25,000 pension per month, but given his tax and financial problems, it is likely of little result. Without a doubt, he will surely find it challenging to obtain work after he is discharged. 4. JaMarcus Russell. JaMarcus Russell would be the perfect example of how not to handle your newly acquired fame and wealth. Russell was a complete train wreck when it came to his choices off the field, in addition to being unquestionably one of the worst draft flops in league history. The Raiders selected him first in the 2007 draft, receiving a hefty $61 million deal. However, once the cash started coming in, Russell essentially stopped trying, though he did continue to spend. The Raiders ultimately released him in 2010, and not long after that, he got into problems after being detected in possession of illegal codeine. Russell quickly ran into financial difficulties and could not pay the mortgage on his enormous Oakland estate. Desperate, he sent a letter to the owners of all 32 teams offering to play for free. Naturally, no one said a word. 5. Vince Young. 7 years after spending all of the $35 million he earned during his 6-year NFL career, Vince Young filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2014. Young managed to spend his money more quickly than he was able to make it. He spent his money carelessly, paying cash for a $176,000 Ferrari, throwing his own birthday party for $300,000, booking the full Southwest Airlines trip and treating his friends to $6,000 per person dinners and beverages. Of course, there are also the millions of dollars in loans he's fallen behind on and the child support he owes to the mothers of his 4 children. He's currently trying to return to the gridiron in the Canadian Football League, but I doubt it will make much of a difference in his debt. 6. Terrell Owens. The flamboyant wide receiver Terrell Owens, if his on-field antics are any indication, lived a lavish lifestyle while he was a player, spending nearly all of the $80 million he made in the league between 1996 and 2010, leaving him essentially penniless now that he is in the real world of personal responsibility. Owens purchased several homes and condominiums before the housing meltdown, and while counting them as investments, their prices ultimately hit their lowest point essentially. To try to make a difference in his monthly expenditures, Owen had to accept a low-paying job in an indoor football league while making sporadic media appearances. Add to that the fact that at least 4 baby mums demanded thousands of dollars in child support each month. 7. Michael Vick. Michael Vick lost approximately $130 million in the long-term contract he had signed with the Atlanta Falcons, millions of dollars in advertising and commercial deals, and tens of millions more in court fines and bonus repayments when he was found guilty of financing a dogfighting ring in 2007. Vick had bought several multi-million-dollar mansions, pricey vehicles, ostentatious jewelry, and financially supported several friends and family before his crimes came to light. He infamously declared bankruptcy in 2008, but was able to make a successful comeback by signing a $100 million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. By 2015, Vick had fought his way out of bankruptcy, but now that he has paid off the last of his obligations and is living on a portion of the $120 million he earned while playing, Vick is on a far more stable financial path. He just started a new clothing brand and currently organises youth football programs. 8. Mark Brunell. Talk about being in the hole. Mark Brunell, a quarterback who earned around $50 million over the course of 17 seasons while playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Washington Redskins, New Orleans Saints, New York Jets, and Green Bay Packers between 1994 and 2011, found himself in serious debt as a result of some very poor financial decisions. Brunell tried his hand at real estate on faulty advice, like others we've just talked about. He bought at least 11 Whataburger franchisees. Unluckily, all of those business endeavors were unsuccessful. In reality, they didn't work out and utterly collapsed, causing Brunell to file for bankruptcy in 2010, reporting $5 million in assets and close to $25 million in liabilities. He is currently earning significantly less money teaching high school football in Jacksonville, where he formerly resided when he was a member of the Jaguars, while he works to get his finances back on track. 9. Ray Rice. In February 2014, Ray Rice set in action his quick descent into financial difficulty when he saw his then-fiancée Janae Palmer in an elevator of an Atlantic City casino. His career was ended once the video went viral, cutting off his enormous cash flow and reducing an additional $10 million in projected earnings. Moreover, his endorsement agreements with Nike, EA Sports, and Vertimax failed, leaving him with no income at all. Even though he had some money in the bank, he still had to pay taxes, many unpaid debts, and a mountain of legal bills. The issue was that Rice continued to spend heavily while having no income and ended up broke. It seems as though one should always be sure of the future. One sentence: plan your future. Anyway, Where do you think most athletes go wrong? That's all from this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. See you in the next video.